now, a powerful winter storm is sweeping across the country.
That's right. Severe winter weather alerts are in effect for millions of Americans nationwide. The National Weather Service has issued a rare blizzard warning in parts of Southern California. Now, it's the first time some areas have been under one in more than 3 decades. CBS News correspondent Carter Evans joins us now from Fraser Park, California. Carter, welcome. So we can see the snow coming down.
Yeah.
You're in the middle of it. How bad is this snowstorm expected to get out west?
Well, you know, they do get snow up here in Fraser Park. They just don't usually get this much. It's been snowing since, I think, about 2 a.m., and it looks like we've probably got about 8 inches or so here, and we're going to get a lot more because the snow is going to continue right through into tomorrow evening. So in some places at higher elevations, they're going to get snow measured in feet. In some places like 5 or 8 feet, that's in the real high elevations. We're around 3,500 feet, but they are expecting a couple of feet of snow here as well. We're also getting a dusting of snow as low as 1,000 feet above sea level. So that means the Hollywood Hills, the hills in Malibu, they're all getting snow today as well.
And Carter, speak to us more about that, because while snow is rare in Southern California, some of these areas have experienced this before, the higher elevations, as you mentioned. So in places, for example, like where you are, do they have the resources to handle it? And is there a worry that other spots that aren't used to it won't?
Yes, so here they've got plows, but as you can see, this road doesn't look like it's been plowed. And right behind me, you can't see it right now, but I assure you, Interstate 5 is right behind me. This is a major artery. It's been closed for hours. There is not a car in miles, and they just, the snow's coming down too fast right now to clear it. So that's the situation right now. As far as snow in LA, the last time this happened was in 1989, and it definitely snarled traffic. I mean, more than normal LA traffic. And we may or may not get that again today. From what I'm hearing from the folks down closer to sea level, right now they're seeing rain, but they are getting a dusting up in the Hollywood Hills.
Well, Carter, then how long is this supposed to last? And then what kind of threat does this pose once it actually melts?
So this is going to continue on through the weekend, and then the storm moves off to the east, and then it's going to be your problem next week, and we can hopefully shake all this snow off. But the trouble's not going to be gone because all this snow is going to melt. It's not going to stay that cold. And there's concern that in the valleys below, there's going to be some flooding because all this runoff has to go somewhere. The good news is we can use it, and all of our reservoirs aren't necessarily full yet, so hopefully we'll get another good dose of water with this one.
Well, Carter Evans, once again, proving he can do it all. Takes us to the surf, takes us into the snow. Right. Stay warm out there with the crew, Carter. We appreciate you connecting with us today.
Thanks, Carter.
Sure thing.
We're in the cockpit of a USNavy P-8 Poseidon aircraft doing a surveillance flight high over the South China Sea, flying over man-made islands that China has been fortifying, but the U.S. considers unlawful. And we're not talking about rocky little outcrops. One of the islands is 700 acres. It's been described as an unsinkable aircraft carrier with a runway, radar bases, and possibly surface-to-air missiles. The militarization of these islands is one part of China's challenge to U.S. influence in the region. During the flight today, the PLA was calling from its ground station to the pilots here, warning the aircraft to leave what it considered its airspace, saying American aircraft no more approaching, you will bear full responsibility. And then the flight was intercepted by a Chinese J-11 fighter jet. It stayed about 500 feet off the left wing for over an hour. It just followed, and it was close. We could see the pilots. The encounter, in the Navy's words, was professional, but these sort of encounters are happening more often. A more assertive China, along with deeper ties to Russia, as well as the positioning on Taiwan, is opening a new front here, and it has the U.S. and allies in the region now beefing up defenses, like that recent deal to have access to 4 new military bases in the Philippines. The question is, with this standoff in the South China Sea, which is still at a distance, how can it be resolved without a conflict?
At about 9 a.m. this morning, a whole bunch of hail started coming down in Burbank. That same storm cell came through the Hollywood Hills a few minutes earlier.
It's pretty crazy.
And did this.
I don't think I ever thought that this would happen.
I went outside and I saw the white and I said, oh my gosh, I'm going to drive up to the sign. This is a once in a 70-year chance to take some cool photos.
My dad texted me, he's on the East Coast, and he was saying, oh, it's snowing in LA. And I looked it up and I saw that Hollywood Lake Park had snow. And so I drove right over. It's like a once in a lifetime thing. So I was like, I got to go see it.
I've lived in Los Angeles my whole life, and I haven't seen any snow since the late 50s when I was a kid. So this is, even though the tourists are not liking it, the locals are loving it, because for us, this is kind of a thrill, you know.
I imagined up in the mountains they'd get plenty, but not down here. Built a little snowman. He's not doing so well, lost an arm, but yeah, might as well, right? Have a little bit of fun with it.
And everybody's really looking forward to seeing what these hills are going to look like in the next 24 hours.
The Justice Department today seizing $75 million worth of properties belonging to a Russian national. It's part of their operation to punish Russia for its invasion of Ukraine. NBC's Tom Winter joins me now. What more can you tell us about this oligarch who owns these properties, supposedly, and why him?
Right. So Viktor Vekselberg is the oligarch that we're talking to. He's referred to in some circles as the nice oligarch, Chris, because there's not a lot of ties between him and Russian organized crime. And there's some debate about whether he's really a part of Putin's inner circle. But anybody that's accumulated the wealth that he has is somebody that's undoubtedly close to Putin in some way, believed to be financial, according to U.S. intelligence and law enforcement experts that we've spoken to. As far as the properties today, we're talking about two in the Miami Beach area and Fisher's Island, another one here in New York City on 5th Avenue, and then in addition to that, a property in the Hamptons, Southampton, New York, among the $75 million that they're looking to seize today in connection with somebody who worked for Vekselberg, who actually fled the country after receiving a grand jury subpoena in May of last year. He ended up, in no surprise, Chris, in Moscow, Russia. The U.S. has indicted him. So that's where that stands. All told, though, $165 million worth of assets has been seized from Vekselberg. That includes his $90 million 255-foot yacht that was seized by Spanish authorities at the request of the United States. Vekselberg, kind of came onto the scene when he made payments, U.S. officials believe, through his cousin, Andrew Intrater, to Michael Cohen. That was a subject of the special counsel back in 2018. And then recently, Intrater's involvement, although he's been charged with no crimes, with payments to George Santos and his campaign. So that's something we'll continue to keep an eye on. All told, Chris, over $500 million seized or sought to be seized by the Justice Department since the invasion of Russia into Ukraine a year ago.
Operation Klepto Capture. Tom Winter, always on top of all of this. Thank you so much. The Alec Murdaugh trial isn't the only courtroom drama making news today. Donald Trump could soon find himself being questioned under oath again after a federal judge ruled that he could be deposed in cases brought by two former FBI officials who he publicly attacked for months. PeterStrzok and LisaPage. NBC's Julia Ainsley is covering this story for us. Julia, remind folks, it's been a while, who these two agents are, and tell us more about the judge's ruling and its implications.
Yeah, Chris, I've got to take you back about 6 years here. This was when the Mueller probe was really heating up. There was a lot of attention on President Trump at the time over what happened, conspired between his campaign and Russia. And the villains, according to the right and according to Trump, became these two FBI agents, PeterStrzok and LisaPage, after their private text messages that they sent, albeit on government phones, to each other, showed that they were biased leading up to the 2016 election, that they were against Trump being elected and for Hillary being elected. Now, collectively, Page and Strzok filed a lawsuit saying that they should not have been fired and that it was because of the political rhetoric and attention on them at the time that basically they were scapegoated. And later, an inspector general for the Justice Department found that their biases, whatever they held privately, really didn't have an impact on their work as FBI agents and would not have influenced the investigation into Trump's alleged conspiracies or what they're looking looking into at the time with Russia leading up to the election. So Page and Strzok want their jobs back. They want pay. And in this case, the judge has said that both Trump and FBI Director Wray, who still holds that position, can be deposed for 2 hours each on a specified list of questions as the attorneys for Page and Strzok try to make the case that their clients were really victims of an overly politicized atmosphere that was trying to make them the scapegoats of the time.